Halloween, the biggest Gorilla Tag update every year. Because Gorilla Tag adds tons of decorations and a ton of new and old cosmetics. And today I'm going to be taking 3 decorations and items and bringing them from Gorilla Tag into real life. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Okay, now before we actually start doing anything, we need a few ideas of things to make in real life. So I headed around Gorilla Tag and took some pictures of stuff I found pretty cool. And here's all the pictures I took. Now that I took all the pictures, we have to decide. Because I'm only going to be making 3 things in this video. So I really like the OG skeleton cosmetic in shop, but I think we should maybe make it for my Gorilla Tag plushie. For the second cosmetic, I'm going to be making this bucket. Because I don't have any buckets yet to put my candy in when I'm trick-or-treating. And I think that for the final and hardest item, we should make Lucy. Because she's like the most important part of Gorilla Tag Halloween. Now that we have our ideas, let's get to making. Okay, so the first item that we're going to be making is this Gorilla Tag skeleton head for our Gorilla Tag plushie. Because Gorilla Tag didn't add any Halloween-themed cosmetics with their plushie kits, so might as well just make some. So I went straight over to the city to go and examine the skeleton head cosmetic until I knew what it looked like. So I just took a 3D model of Lucy and chopped her head off. Yeah, I'm pretty sorry, Lucy. Now that we have a 3D model for the head, I went over to my 3D printer and printed it. Once it was 3D printed, I painted it with a bunch of different colors. Here's what it looked like after painting. But we're not done just yet. Because we still have to add some Velcro to actually make it stick to the Gorilla Tag plushie. So I grabbed some Velcro and stuck it on there. Now here is the finished result. This cosmetic was pretty easy to make, but it's also going to be the easiest item that we're making in this video. Because we're still going to be making the Gorilla Tag candy bucket and of course Lucy. So make sure to stick to the end for that. But anyways, let's get on to the candy bucket. Now the next thing we're going to be making is the candy bucket. And as the name suggests, we're going to need a bucket to actually make this. So I searched all around for a bucket but couldn't find one. Until I went outside and found a flower pot in a similar shape. So I just used a flower pot. Once I was done kind of cleaning the bucket out, I started painting it purple. And this painting took so long because the white bucket was constantly showing through the paint. But after about 5 coats, I think I'm done painting. So let's get on to the face details. I cut the eyes, nose, and mouth out of a black piece of foam I found. After that, I waited for the paint to dry and stuck the eyes, nose, and mouth onto the bucket. But because this was a flower pot, there were still holes in the bottom. But I covered these up by cutting a large circle out of a piece of plastic. But here's the finished result. Okay, I honestly think it looks pretty good. Even though this was only the second hardest item we're going to be making today, it was already pretty hard to make. But right now, we're going to get on to our final item, which is going to be Lucy. Now, the final prop we're going to be making today is Lucy. First off, I was thinking about 3D printing the whole thing, but that would be a pretty boring video to watch. But I got a new idea. I'm going to go to the store and look at the Halloween decorations and see if there's like some sort of base I can use to start making Lucy. So I'll see you guys once I'm back from the store. Okay, I just got back from biking to the store and I got some pretty good news. I found a Halloween prop that looks almost exactly like Lucy. It just needs some modifications and it should be good to go. So here's what I got. As you can see, it's a skeleton without legs, but it has some clothes on and stuff, so we're gonna have to take those off and fix the head. Because it doesn't really look anything like Lucy's. So let's get straight on to doing that. Okay, so I took the skeleton's clothes off and it was honestly pretty easy to do that. Because these were glued on with some pretty cheap glue. Now after that, I looked at a reference image of Lucy, and as you can see, the skeleton has too many ribs. So I took off some of the ribs and I also took off the head because it was inaccurate. Now I did use the same technique as I did with the first prop and 3D printed Lucy's head. After that, I glued it onto the skeleton and it looked like this. Now let's get on to painting. To paint Lucy, we need the colors white, black, and cyan. Luckily, I have all of those colors. And after a bit of painting, Lucy was finally finished. Now before I show you what it looks like, please make sure to subscribe because these videos take a long time to make. Now the video you're watching right now took over 4 hours to make. So might as well just click that subscribe button. But anyways, here it is. This is the final product, and I think it looks really good. The paint really made a difference because it didn't look too good before I started painting it. And that's going to be about it for the video. If you have any ideas of things I should make with other videos, make sure to comment them down below. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching, goodbye.